All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's Thursday night. As it's Thursday night, you're getting a full plate, heaping helping of the night terrors. So I hope you guys are all set for this. Thank you all for joining me. The phones are working, so we got that in our favor so far. So far, things are going pretty decent. I'm just looking at some of the chat. Good to see you guys coming in right away. Thank you so much. The numbers are just piling in. Makes me feel so lovely. You guys make me feel lovely. I just had a bit of a nap, so I'm kind of groggy, but I'm waking up. All right. Just still got this neck thing cooking, man. It's just screwing me up for sleeping. But I'm here with you because I wouldn't dream of being anywhere else except right here among all this love fest. And as such, we even got another segment tonight that I haven't been able to have for a while. But we got another one, so we're going to have some comments from the cheap seats coming up as well tonight, as well as the trail cam terrors at the end of the show. So we got a lot of things to get through tonight. I don't know where we'll end up, but we'll have fun getting there all the same. So hope you guys are doing great. As I said, the phone lines work. 720-923-0500 is your numbers for fun right here on the portal. So if you want to call in and be a part of tonight's show, you're welcome to do that. I'd love to hear from you. It's always great when you guys become a part of the action, become a part of what we're doing. So feel free to call in, whenever the spirit moves you, but I'd rather it wasn't right on the front end of the show, just somewhere, after a few minutes, after I get my pace, it's like when I first start a show, it's always just figuring out what my pace is. And sometimes I never figure that out, but I'm always trying. But anyway, I don't know, anything else on the front end here? I don't think so, but we got a lot to get through. So I hope you're ready for an incredible voyage into the strange and wonderful realm that is the Paranormal Portal. I hope you're ready, because it's time for bed. Dead air. Oh no. All right, folks, welcome. Here we are. We are now live and underway. Oh, I forgot one thing. I'm glad I just noticed this, because this would have made me kind of sad to have missed it. But I was preemptively ready for it. I just forgot to paste that last little link in there, and we should have live chat on the screen. There we go. Now the live chat is being forever recorded along with the video elements of our tonight's broadcast. So that's good, right? All right. So tonight I thought we'd do some discussions about ghost photography. And I think it's a pretty charged kind of discussion. First of all, a lot of people. Okay, so I'm gonna have to kind of lay my cards on the table here. I do photography. I've been through college for photography. I'm not a degreed photographer or anything like that, but I'm close. I got close to my associate's degree in requirements for photography. I love taking photos. Excuse me. But I'm here to tell you that cameras do things that a lot of people aren't aware of. They can create these weird tricks of light that can sometimes be they can really look incredible, and people just blown away by them. But in reality, things like lens flares, things like reflectivity in surfaces and such can create ghostly images or orbs and things like that. And oftentimes it's tough, because I do get a lot of people sending me images, and they're like, hey, what do you think? I think I captured some really cool stuff here. And it's like, oh, you know what? There's a shiny reflective surface in the background. You were using flash. It reflected. It created a lens flare, and that's the orb you're seeing. And it kind of sucks, because I know that people really want to have caught something. So I think people generally have a confirmation bias when it comes to ghost photography. Excuse me. But, in truth, ghost photography really does happen. Don't get me wrong. I think that there are many examples, and I think there's some incredible examples of ghost photography, not just the old classics, which are many of the old classics are what we're going to go through tonight, but I think people are still capturing amazing apparitions today. The other side of it is there's these ghost apps, and I really have to first of all caution all of you guys out there, don't use ghost apps on your phone unless it's just a ghost radar or something like that, because your phone does contain a magnetometer, which should be able to rudimentarily, or at least within a range of frequency, be able to detect EMF shifts. So that in and of itself is okay. But don't use the ones that include a ghost photograph application and stuff, because I get a lot of those sent to me. And they look incredible. They look so incredible, like, wow. But then when you start Googling, you'll see that very same impression on thousands of other photos where these ghost apps place them. And then my next question, obviously, the person is, are you using an app on your phone that's for capturing ghosts? Yeah, I am. It's this really great one. Yeah, it's not so great. So if you're gonna do ghost photography, if you're gonna try to capture spiritual photography, just be aware you're probably not going to get anything legitimate through one of those ghost apps anyway. They create nothing but false positives, and they do it all through the cute little umbrella of entertainment. Well, it's not very entertaining when, you get made of, to look silly. And so I always caution people away from those, the ones that have the weird overlays and stuff. Oh, look, it does this weird filter overlay, and now it's a FLIR image. No, it's not. It's just doing a spectral shift on your picture. It's not, and sometimes those can be valuable in picking out fine details or differentiating what's in a picture, but they don't create a FLIR one out of your camera phone unless you've got the little add-on that clicks into your phone. So just my first words of caution, but oftentimes things like orbs are most explained as dust, debris, dander, hairs, something sitting too close to the lens. Spider webs create the most fantastic, wispy, ghost-like images that can be incredibly convincing, including MPEGs. There's a famous footage that came from Idaho, from a school in Idaho, and it's apparently they had some power issues one time, and they caught what looks like this apparition. I think it's Pocatello High School, actually, in Idaho, and they caught what looks like this ghostly apparition coming out of a classroom door out in the hallway, and then going back in. On the surface, it looks incredible. But if you get really close into the image, you'll see there's a little more stuff that's a little higher on the frame. And you'll see that it's actually what I believe that it's a spider web, like some kind of a cobweb that got dangled down. And there's obviously ventilation going on in this school. And so what's going on is there's a pendulum swing to it. The artifacts that are higher on the frame are absolutely in line with the big blobby mass in the bottom part. And it goes like this. And you can see that there's some origin point off the lens, but it's close enough to the camera that it's picking up some of the IR light, the infrared lights that are illuminating the hallway. And so I don't think that that's legitimate, but it's passed a lot of people's tests. Oh yeah, I think that's really spirits. And I can't say that I have to be right, but I really think I'm right on this one. And believe me, nobody wants this stuff to be more real than me. I love the whole idea of spirit photography. I love the whole idea of people capturing presences and being able to show them, because I think it's very powerful. But it's got to stand up to scrutiny. So that's going to be the topic tonight. I didn't mean for it to be a big long dialogue of me talking about it. But that's just my, on the first and foremost, I wanted to at least establish that I do have some background in this, and, which may or may not make me any more credible than anybody else, but at least I feel like when I'm making a judgment call on these things, I have some reference point to come from. So take it or leave it, but we're going to get into some famous ghost pictures and their stories tonight. And so our phenomena tonight, strange phenomena, is ghost photography. Excuse me. My God. There we go. That was a good one. So the first one we're going to cover tonight is from themysticfiles.com, and they have an article here. It's 10 famous ghost pictures and their stories. So let's get to that. Wait, I got to pull this up on the screen. I'm going to see if you guys notice anything. Just watch your screen and tell me if you notice anything. Ding. I don't know. I thought it was good. I put that on some of the overlays today. So I hope that hit you guys and you're impressed. Just goes to show you what I'm working on when I'm not doing the shows. All right, 10 famous ghost pictures and their stories. Ghosts are notoriously camera shy. More times than not, when someone claims to have photographed evidence of a ghost, it's usually a Photoshop job, trick photography, or it's orbs. Orbs are actually just a light source reflecting off of dust, bugs, and precipitation. This is in the air, and the only way your camera knows how to deal with this reflection are the balls of light that are often associated with orbs. Some photographic evidence of ghosts does exist, however. This photographic evidence has stood up to scrutiny and stood the test of time. And this is a real famous image. And this, we'll get into the story, but the person we're looking at is right here in the image. This is the cropped image here, so you can see. But it's this gentleman right here has this extra face peeking out. Excuse me, hold on. All right, so let's get to the story here. A squadron of Royal Air Force assembled to take a mundane photograph, but after the picture was developed, the squad quickly realized this was no ordinary picture. Standing behind one of his mates was the 2 days deceased Freddie Jackson. Jackson was a mechanic in the Royal Air Force and served on board the HMS Daedalus, and he had been working when he was killed in a freak accident by a plane propeller. But Jackson did not let his death get in the way of him showing up on time for the group photo 2 days later. Several of the other men in the photo confirmed that this was in fact Jackson's face in the background of the picture. And how powerful is that? Let's get a little bigger look at that. I think that's incredible. And what an amazing capture. Now, this was what year was this again? It doesn't say, does it? It just says the Royal Air Force, but it looks like it's around World War I, World War II time. So, they didn't have, a quick exposure rates or anything like that. It was all just whoosh, the powder in the tray or something. It might have been more of a mundane flash than that, like those bulbs, but still, that's a phenomenal capture. It's obviously not another face in this image. I have seen a bigger image of this and looked through the faces, and it's not just a quick, merge or something like that. This is what I think is very incredible evidence. So I like it. I like it bunches. Okay, so the next one is the Lady of Bachelor's Grove, and there she is. And what a sad picture. I don't know. Either it's pleasant or it's sad. I'm not sure which. But she kind of sits there looking really melancholy, and it doesn't look like she's real thrilled. The photo was taken at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery in Illinois. While it does not get the press that the Illinois Resurrection Cemetery does, many experts in the field of the paranormal consider it to be one of the most haunted graveyards in the world. So what is so unique about the photo of the woman sitting on a stone in a graveyard? According to the people who took this photo, the woman was not there when the picture was taken. The photo was taken by Mary Huff, who is a member of the respected paranormal investigating group Ghost Research Society. I wonder if this is related to Steve Huff. Huff Paranormal. So this helps lend some credibility to the story, and in my opinion, it looks to be a staged photograph, but I definitely think the photo's authenticity is worth a debate. Well, yeah, I can't say she's at all translucent, so she's very fully manifest. There's no translucency to her at all. You don't see anything through her. But the fact that they didn't see her when they were taking the image, I think, is pretty impressive. That she just showed up there. I don't know. I think it could very well be legit. Number 3, cowboy ghost or mysterious stranger. Now, I know they say this is a cowboy ghost, and I think this happened in Deadwood or in Tombstone, somewhere in there, but this looks more like a gangster hat from the 20s, doesn't it? Anyway, let's check it out. 1996, Ike Clanton thought it would be a pretty cool idea to deck himself out in cowboy attire and have his friend snap a picture of him while he stood in Boot Hill Graveyard in the famous Tombstone, Arizona. Upon examining the picture, Clanton noticed a man in the background of the photo that was not there when the photograph was taken. Clanton was intrigued by this and set out to recreate the photo with a friend standing in the background and discovered it was impossible to recreate the picture without having the legs visible. Okay. I don't see the other picture, but at any rate, yeah, I mean, it looks like his feet would be in the ground by the virtue of the composition here. Yeah, I'm getting better. So this one is the spirit in the woods, and there she is. Wow. That's pretty powerful. Because there does look to be some transparency going on here. This photograph was taken by Reverend R.S. Blanche at Corroboree Rock near Alice Springs, Australia, in 1959. In the woods with branches in front of her appears to be a transparent woman. If a photo like this was taken today, one would think that it was a fake ghost picture created in Photoshop. But Photoshop didn't exist until 1959. Or didn't exist in 1959, rather. Double exposure is also unlikely given how visible the areas in front and behind the woman are. Yeah, that's pretty powerful. It's really, really, if that's pareidolia, that's a hell of a pareidolia because it's not just a face, it's the body. I mean, the whole deal is there. So that's pretty powerful. All right, this one is the Fire Girl. Oh, that's creepy. All right, let's read this one. Oof. On November 19th, 1995, Wern Town Hall in England caught fire. The fire raged on all through the night until the building was nothing but rubble. As firefighters battled the flames, a local citizen, Tony O'Rahilly, decided to snap some pictures of the event. In one of his photographs, there appears to be a clear image of a little girl standing in front of the inferno. No one remembers a little girl being at the scene, and there was definitely not a young girl in the burning building. Some believe this is a ghost of a young girl named Jane Charm, who died in 1677, accidentally started a fire that destroyed many homes in the town. Jane also died in that fire. Perhaps the photo is just smoke recreating the amazing illusion of a girl, or perhaps it's a real ghost. If that's smoke, that's some incredible smoke. Yeah. Was she a pyromaniac? Is that what's going on? And her restless spirit still wants to start fires? And did they ever figure out what started this fire? That would be the curious thing. So was the fire itself an unusual event? Because I do believe, spirits can do stuff like this. I don't think they do, not necessarily as a rule, but as because I don't think most of them are crazy. I think they're just here for whatever purposes they're here. But I suppose there could be some weird, wicked ones around, and they could just do things like this. I mean, if the spirits can knock over things, right? So yesterday in the studio, a saucer full of sand was knocked off the table back here, slid off, and hit the floor. Don and I are both here, nobody else in the room. Talked about it at the beginning of yesterday's show. That was something that moved. If that was a lit candle, that could just have easily been a fire. So they can move things, and if they move the right things, you got a bunch of problems. Ghosts don't call shotgun. The year is 1959. Mabel Chinnery had just spent the day at the cemetery visiting her mother's grave. To finish off a roll of film, she snapped a picture of her husband, who was seated in the front seat of the car awaiting her. She had the pictures developed. While looking at the photograph, she makes a chilling discovery. In one of the photographs, her deceased mom is sitting in the back seat of her car. There's Mom. There's Grandma right there. I bet you her hubby didn't wish she'd sitting in the car anymore. Next time, go pay your respects, you old fool. Here's a classic one. This one's been around for a long, long time. I mean, all of these have, but this is one I even remember from my childhood. I grew up in a small town, and there was only a little library. There was no internets, so I would go look at the ghost books. I remember this picture being in some of those first early ghost books I ever could check out, and I was always fascinated by it. It's like, whoa. So, what does it say? It says in summer of 1954, Reverend K.F. Ford was taking pictures at his church that is located in England. While snapping pictures, he accidentally captured one of the most famous and perhaps undeniable pictures of a ghost ever taken. In the picture is what appears to be a monk with a ghastly face. The photo has been examined, and it was determined that it is neither a double exposure nor had the negative been tampered with. Additionally, what they're not saying in here is that this apparition would have to have been about 7 feet tall to stand where it's standing and still have its head up here by the top of the altar. So that's a huge apparition. Creepy. All right, his favorite chair. There you go. Look at him. That's my chair. Get out of my chair. Have you ever had a favorite chair? Or perhaps a preferred spot on the couch that's just more comfortable than the rest of the other areas on the couch? So did Lord Combermere. Lord Combermere unfortunately got hit with a horse-drawn carriage in 1891. Now let's stop that for a second. What do you got to be doing to get hit by a horse-drawn carriage? It's not like they're shooting around at like 50. They're probably just galloping along. So what was going on with Lord Combermere that he got railed by a carriage? I will not move. This is my driveway. Get off my lawn. I don't know. I don't know what you got to be doing to get hit by a horse-drawn carriage, but usually it's pretty escapable. Usually you can get out of the way of that. So I'm not sure what state he was in there, but and I'm not mocking him, honestly. It's just one of those statements. It's like, wow, how'd you manage that? Anyway, let's continue. During the funeral, his family hired a photographer to take some family pictures. His burial took place over 4 miles away while the family attended the funeral. The photographer prepared the camera. When the plate was developed, it appeared that the apparition of Lord Combermere was sitting in his favorite chair. Perhaps the coffin wasn't comfortable enough. I don't know. I think I'd prefer my chair over a coffin, too. Wow. This is the Brown Lady, and this is one I've used on several promotions for the show. And this photograph was considered by many to be the most famous ghost photograph. It is taken in 1936 in Raynham Hall in Norfolk, England, and still today cannot be explained. The photogenic ghost is thought to be that of Dorothy Townsend, who lived in Raynham Hall with her husband, Charles Townsend, in the 1700s. Legend has it that Dorothy was a mistress to Lord Wharton, and Charles found out about it. He then imprisoned her in a remote section of the hall until she died from his abuses. Legal records show she died in 1726, but many believe this to be a sham, as Charles wanted people to believe she was dead so he could punish her for her infidelity. That's a dark thing. Oof. So as it happens, the narrative was it was a Town and Country magazine or something like that was going through, or a book or publication was going through this house, documenting it for its obvious historical beauty, and the photographer just turned and took a picture of the staircase. And when I think they saw it with their naked eye as well, as I recall. I think they actually saw it with their naked eye, but it did actually turn up. There it is. I think in the vision they saw with their naked eye, it was actually colored like the Blue Lady, or brown. Maybe it was brown. I thought it was blue before, but anyway, it might be a Mandela thing for me. But an interesting photo nonetheless. Stairway to the Afterlife. That's creepy. I don't care who you are. That's creepy. All right. In 1996, Reverend Ralph Hardy visited the National Museum in Greenwich, England, in which, while in the Queen's House section of the museum, Hardy snapped a photo of the beautiful staircase. Upon developing his photography, Hardy made a shocking discovery. One of his photos showed a ghostly figure climbing the staircase. The figure was not in the photography when Hardy took the picture. The photograph and the negatives were examined by experts, some of which were from Kodak, and all have concluded that the negative was not tampered with, nor is it a double exposure. Are these 10 photos proof that ghosts exist? Is this proof of an afterlife? The problem is that there's always room for a hoax or accidental fake when one does not have multiple witnesses and insurmountable evidence. These 10 photos are absolutely amazing regardless, and some of these pictures have undoubtedly given even the most hardened skeptic goosebumps. And I don't believe they should be simply written off as fakes and ignored. These photographs should continue to be examined and researched. That was by Jonathan Cawley, copyrighted. Beautiful article. He did a nice job. If you look at this image, it's really crazy because here's a hand here, and here's this long outstretched hand up here, as if it's pulling itself laboriously up the railing. It's just a creepy, creepy photo. But I mean, it's another one of those incidental captures, as it were. Now, in all of these, one thing is the takeaway of it is that none of these were really planned for the most part. Nobody took these pictures thinking, hey, I'm going to catch a ghost, except possibly the brown lady one. I think that was one exception to that. But I think this is a great overview, very well documented, and shows some of the most compelling examples today of what we understand to be spirit photography. One other thing I'd like to point out, there's not one orb in these photos. These are all apparitions. So, and now the interesting thing is, this is with orbs. The interesting thing is that the whole orb thing really became predominant and quite common at the same time as the advent of the digital camera. So that may be a little bit of a hint as to why orbs are captured. It could be a function of the modern camera, the digital camera. Film cameras didn't capture orbs. Not ever. I'm not going to say not ever, but rarely did that come up. But somehow the CMOS sensors on these modern cameras, along with the lens constructions and such, have created this different set of variables that seems to capture these things more commonly. That does not substantiate that they're real. If anything, it substantiates that perhaps they are more a function or a symptom of modern photography than they are actually documenting paranormal evidence. So I'm just throwing that out there, and believe me, I'm not trying to say that they don't get captured. They do. I'm sure that I've seen real orb stuff. I know I've seen it with my own eyes, but I think I've seen video evidence and some photos that are really, really compelling that could very well be the real thing of orbs and photos. But I've also taken a ton of pictures during snow, light snow flurries, mists, sprinkles. If you're using a flash, you'll have loved ones all around you. Trust me. There's going to be loved ones everywhere that are in orbs. And again, I know people zoom into them and say, there's a face in there. Maybe. I'm just not a big believer in it myself, and that's just me being totally forthcoming and transparent here. I don't buy into the whole orb thing very much. Again, it's possible, and perhaps I could be proven wrong, but it just is very peculiar to me. But anyway, that's some ghost photos, and I think it's pretty interesting stuff. I really do. I don't know. I never want to take the place and say this is what it is, this is what it isn't, because quite honestly, all of this stuff is open to interpretation. It's your paradigm. You are going to decide whether something is real or something is not real. We do have more of these ghostly images from the same site, and some of these are more modern examples. I'm just going through them right now, quick like. And again, from Jonathan Cawley and paranormalhaze.com. And he did a good job. He did a really good job. But let's talk about these now. And these are These are everywhere. These photos are everywhere. If you go and Google ghost photos, you're going to find pretty much every one of these images that I'm going to show you. So it's just he did a good job organizing them all with a bit of a narrative, which makes all of our lives easier. When you're dealing with topics, it's nice that somebody did the legwork. So definitely stop by mysticfiles.com or go over to paranormalhaze.com and give them some traffic, give them some attention, because again, I always encourage people to support all of these people's works. These are the people that are doing it. These are the people that are bringing us the information so that we can discuss it. And a lot of times this kind of stuff is thankless. I'm sure he's not making a bunch of money just because you wrote an article. So do what you can to support it, because we are a community of enthusiasts. And as such, we got to support each other's work. So here we go. And this is the next version of this. This is 10 more famous ghost pictures and their stories. So let's check this out. So this first one is Ghosts Do Not Go AWOL. And we've covered this one on the show before, but I'm curious to see what Jonathan has to say about it here. In 1924, 2 crewmen of the SS Watertown were accidentally killed when they inhaled dangerous gases while cleaning out the ship's cargo tank. There was nowhere to store the bodies, and the ship would not be reaching land for several more days, so the captain ordered that the bodies to be thrown overboard. Over the next several days, every member of the crew, including the captain, saw the faces of the deceased men peering up at them from the water. When the ship docked in New Orleans, the captain of the SS Watertown decided to purchase a camera. The ship eventually went back out to sea, and the same bizarre ghostly faces began appearing in the water again. But this time, the captain got a picture, and there's the faces. Again, it's kind of an apocryphal tale, because we only have the collected they saw, they said, they observed. So we don't have individual statements of the people, but it looks like 2 faces in the waves. And that would be creepy as hell. That would be absolutely creepy as hell. I would think, oh, we're damned. That's it. We're damned. This ship is cursed. Go back to port. This is not going to end good, but as far as I know, that's the end of it. Graveyard is no place for a child, ghost or not. This one just kind of breaks my heart. It's tough to think that perhaps there's these little gentle spirits that are left to wander and to, I don't know, do whatever it is they do. The whole idea of ghosts sitting around graveyards and stuff to me is really tragic anyway. It's like, what the hell's going on? Why are they just sitting there? But let's hear the story. It says, a woman was visiting her daughter's grave that had died tragically at the age of 17, and she decided to take a few pictures of her daughter's headstone. Upon getting her pictures developed, the woman was shocked to discover a gleeful toddler sitting on top of her daughter's grave. The woman didn't recognize the child, nor did she see any children in the cemetery that day the picture was taken. And there's an obvious translucency here. You can see there's a transparency. Now, of all the modern images that I've seen, this one does look suspect to me, and I don't know why. It just doesn't, it looks like, I don't know, it just looks kind of staged. And I don't know when this was taken. It doesn't give us a date, so we don't know the time frame. But I don't know, it just feels off to me. It's like that image is just so perfect. And the translucency is also kind of perfect. There's a very uniform translucency. Now, it does look like a child is sitting there, but is that a double exposure? Is that a trick in the dark room? Could be. I don't know. Stacking negatives, maybe. It's hard to say, but it does kind of come off as, what's going on here? But you be the judge. I'm just giving you the ideas that are recorded here. I do in pictures like this, I do really appreciate the red lines and the circles and stuff, because I don't know if I would have ever seen that. But since it's not anywhere near the center of the photos. But what does it say? This is Ghost in the Church Loft. Photographer Chris Brackley was awestruck by the beauty and interior of a London St. Botolph's church. It says Trutch, but I think he meant church. He set up his camera and took several pictures of the church. Upon examining the photos, he made some very interesting discovery. In the upper right corner of the photo, there appears to be a ghostly apparition of a woman. Brackley claims that there were only 3 people in the church when he snapped the now infamous photo, and none of them were in the loft. I got to admit, this one's new to me. I hadn't seen this one before. But it does really resemble that there could be people up there. Smile, everybody. I don't know. It's unusual. Could be legit. That's not over the top. And it's not blatant. It doesn't look staged to me. But I can't say, that it's not just some trick of the light either. All right. Oh, there's a really cropped image of it. Yeah, wait a minute. That's a lot more creepy there. It gets a lot creepier when you crop in on it there. That definitely looks like a creepy face looking down with a weird smirk. Eek. That'll get your blood cooking. I'm not sure what this is over here. If this is another head or what, but eek. All right, this is the minister's ghost. Oh, look at that. Huh. I'm surprised at how many of these were taken, the first batch especially, were taken by members of the clergy. And I find that very interesting because, of course, many religious practices such as, and I'm not saying it's true for all, like the Church of England and stuff, but Catholicism doesn't acknowledge ghosts. There's only, there's only people, when they die, they go to like a purgatory or rest waiting the judgment, and then there's evil. So I don't know. I could be really oversimplifying that a lot, but that's interesting that so many were taken by clergy members. This photo was taken in 1999 at Sefton Church in Merseyside, England, and was taken by a photographer who was fascinated by the ancient structure. The photographer says that there was no one standing there when he took the photograph, and theorizes that due to the phantom's attire, that it was the apparition of one of the church's ministers back from the dead. Huh. I guess he didn't want to be forgotten. That is kind of cool. I don't know. Again, it's up to you. Believe what you want. But I think that looks pretty impressive. And it's definitely, everything else is in focus to a pretty good degree, but this apparition is not. There's definitely hazing or a blur to it that would suggest, and a transparency, because you can see some of those steps coming through. So it could very well be some legitimate spirit photography. This one's creepy. That's all kinds of creepy. Photogenic ghost. This photo made the rounds on the internet through email chain letters, and thus has become one of the most famous ghost photos or pictures in existence. It seems to be a realistic ghost picture, as it is subtler than most Photoshop forgeries, and there is no real credible sources to get the story behind from the photo. But going on in the background, there appears to be an ethnic origin. One of the girls may have assumed that they are in Manila, Republic of Philippines. My first thought is that it's a fake photo created in Photoshop, but I have the tendency to say that about all contemporary ghost pictures. Yeah, and that's a safe bet, usually. But it is weird. I don't know. It wouldn't be real hard to do that, I don't think, in Photoshop. So I think the author's onto something there. It's not a real complicated picture. It's not that pristine. Hold on. It's, I don't know. It appears to be a pretty good crop already to get to here. So it's been cropped in quite a bit, or it's just your average potato camera anyway. Now it does kind of think, well, she got some kind of attachment. Is this what an attachment would look like? If you had a spiritual attachment, is this what it looks like? It's kind of a creepy possible face. I can't really say for sure what's going on here, but is that 2 eyes, or is that one eye doubled, or is it just one eye with like a Dobby ear from the house elf thing, or what's going on here? I don't know. Creepy stuff, but that's weird. Ghosts like toys too. Says this image was caught in 1984 during a paranormal investigation of a Toys R Us store in Sunnyvale, California. I remember hearing about this. It is said that infrared and normal pictures were taken during a seance when the film was developed. The infrared photos showed the image of a man who was not present in the normal photo. The man also appears to be wearing clothing that is out of place for that time period. It is claimed that paranormal activity still plagues this location to this day. Well, it's not a Toys R Us anymore, so I hope he likes whatever it is now. They went out of business, didn't they? And it's just, is that what a seance looks like? Is that what it really is? Like the ghost just kind of comes up and leans against something and watches what you're doing? Is that what the seance would look like to any observer if you were a spirit? Maybe. That's creepy, though. St. Mary's ghost. Oh, look at that, right up and personal. See, that looks a little funky, too. I don't know. Let's read it and see what it says. Many churchgoers who attended church at the Church of St. Mary, the Virgin in Northampton, England, claimed that a ghostly figure would appear during service and would start praying. In 1964, photographic evidence of this restless spirit's existence was captured. Photographer Gordon Carroll snapped this photo in an attempt to capture the church's beauty, but upon developing his picture, discovered that he had captured what appeared to be a ghost. Yeah. It looks like a nun, doesn't it? Kinda. I don't know, but then you see the priest collar, so I don't know. Doesn't look real thrilled though, but I don't know if old priests and nuns look thrilled ever. I don't know. I'm not Catholic, so I don't know. I just have the Hollywood versions in my head. But yeah, it could very well be. This is Grandma and Ghostly Grandpa. I think this is a beautiful, beautiful photo. I've heard the story of this one many times in the years. Excuse me. Again, this would be Grandpa back here, for those of you that might be wondering. And this, of course, is Grandma. Now we got that cleared up, let's get to the narrative. This famous ghost photo is often seen on the internet and through emails accompanied with the quotation, "The lady in the color photo is my granny. She lived on her own until age 94, when her mind started to weaken and had to be moved to an assisted living home for her own safety. At the end of the first week, there was a picnic for residents and their families. My mom and sister attended, and my sister took 2 pictures that day. And this is one of them. It was taken on Sunday, 8/17/97, and we think the man behind her is my grandpa, who passed away on Sunday, 8/14/84. We did not notice the man in the picture until Christmas Day, 2000. Granny has since passed away, but while browsing through some loose family photos at my parents' house, my sister thought it was such a nice picture of Granny that she even made a copy for Mom, but still nobody noticed the man behind her for over 3 years. When I arrived at my parents' house that Christmas Day, my sister handed me the picture and said, "Who do you think this man behind Granny looks like?" It took a few seconds for it to sink in. I was absolutely speechless. The black and white photos show that it really looks like him. The black and white photos she is referring to are below. Yeah, there he is. There's Grandpa. And yeah, there's more than a passing similarity to that. I gotta say that if this is just some bystander and this is what he's doing when they're taking pictures, that's creepy as hell. So you better hope it's Grandpa. Otherwise, that's some kind of really creepy guy. Just sitting there staring at everybody at the table. That's weird. I think it's a great story. I think our loved ones do stick around. I think that, if you're in a relationship and that love is so powerful that, it doesn't, it's not a big reach to think that whoever passes first just sits around and keeps an eye on the other one until it's time. I think that's a beautiful thought. A permanent guest is this one. Yeah, that's very subtle, but yeah, very translucent. It only seems fitting that this unsettling photo would come from what is arguably the paranormal capital of the world, Romania. This This photo soared to fame after it was published in a Romanian newspaper, republished countless times after. The photo was taken in a 150-year-old hotel named the De Cabal Hotel. A guest who was staying there by the name of Victoria Iovan took the incredible picture. The hotel is a source of a very old legend. The legend says that long ago a Roman treasure was hidden where the hotel now stands, and the ghost appears when someone ventures too close to its location. Yikes. Well, I guess you should stay away from the stairs then. Apparently it's still hidden, huh? Oof. See, now this could very easily be a lens flare. You look at how hot that is. And that's a photographic term, but it's when the lights are overpowering, the flash is overpowering the image itself. Artifacts, even though it doesn't look exactly like this, it's not hard to believe that could create an artifact somewhere else in the frame. And that's a lensing feature because lenses are curved. So it doesn't always repeat them right directly in line. It can shoot them off in other directions depending upon the angle of the flash and its reflection. So, I don't know. I'm not as big on this one, but we'll see what it says. Girl on the tracks. Nearly every town has a similar legend. A long time ago, a school bus got stuck on a railroad track, and the train plows into the bus, killing the children inside the bus. Today, if you pull up to the track and turn off your car, the ghost of the children will push your car uphill across the tracks. San Antonio, Texas is no different, as they have a legend, just like the one I described, that is centered on a set of mundane railroad tracks. The difference between this legend and the others, though, is that there may be a photographic proof of Texas Haunted Railroad. A family that went to the track to test the legend above took the photo. The inexplicable ghostly figure of a young girl is clearly present in the picture. Okay, maybe. I want to stress that I'm not presenting these photos as absolute fact. I am merely presenting them and the supposed true stories that accompany these spine-tingling photographs to you for entertainment value. Whether or not these photos are definitive proof of an afterlife is absolutely debatable and up to you to decide. Exactly. Good point. And thank you, Jonathan Cawley, for your wonderful work. You did great, brother. This is beautiful. And a wonderful summation of some pretty incredible photos. I think that more than a few of these are very probably legit. But yeah, I think that one's just horrible. I liked it better like this, when it was this big. I don't like it like this much. That is just wrong. Yeesh. Well, what do you do? What do you do, folks? It's the beauty of the portal. We get it all here. Let's close that one. Okay, so now, folks, we've come to a point in the show that I haven't had to touch for a long time because, well, quite honestly, we don't get a lot of this anymore. And we never really have gotten much of it, which is really awesome. But tonight's extra special feature, which is one I could be just happy never again doing. But since they come up from time to time, it's time for comments from the cheap seats. Welcome to Comments from the Cheap Seats, ladies and gentlemen. This is a little segment of the show that I like to put aside for those people who just go out of their way to leave really crappy comments. And, again, we don't get a lot of this. So we've been very fortunate with a lot of incredibly supportive people. And, you guys have been wonderful. And those who have left comments have been amazing and really become part of the family. And it's a great pleasure every day for me to get up and start going through comments and stuff. That to me is a real gift. However, every once in a while, you come around a gem. This gem was left, and this is my attempt. So I figure if somebody's going to go to all that energy just to be a creep, to be a dick, then I'm going to use a little bit of energy to make them famous for it. So whatever that means. Not that this show's big, but if they're gonna do a comment like this, I'm going to bring it to light and make sure everybody gets a little whiff of their kind little additions to our world. So This comment came from the episode where Vic Cundiff was our guest. And at the beginning of the episode, I'm a listener of Dogman Encounters. I think Vic does a hell of a job, and I really enjoyed having him on the show. We had a great discussion, but I'm a fan of Vic's. I think the work he's doing is really good, really powerful, and he puts his heart and soul into it. So I respect that quite a bit. So at the beginning of the episode, I talked about that a little bit because I think that's fair play. However, it was just way too much for Sync Hollywood, who left a comment, fell asleep during the long drawn-out egotistical intro. What a kind little gem to leave us. Just, far be it from anybody to be complimentary, to build up somebody's value and worth, and to acknowledge the hard work that they put into what they do. No, instead, we should focus our time and energy on making sure the program moves along at a brisk pace for people whose time is so valuable, much like Sync Hollywood, who I'm sure needs to schedule and coordinate their endeavors carefully so as not to waste any of their precious time. So my sincerest apologies, Sync Hollywood. We'll try to move right to the good stuff for you. Everything should be on your timetable. And maybe your time is just way too valuable to be doing things like, I don't know, watching YouTube. So thanks a lot. Appreciate your comment. You fine piece of work. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the comments from the cheap seat. So hope you enjoyed it. And that'll bring us right over to Trail Cam Terrors tonight, folks, where we go through different trail cam photos that are allegedly capturing what may very well be paranormal activity. I don't know. You be the judge. I can't vouch for any of these. These are just as I find them on the wilds of the World Wide Web. So, and I pick them, I frame them, and I bring them unceremoniously to you. And so you be the judge. Is this potentially a crazy capture of some otherworldly energy or phenomena, or what exactly could be going on here? And tonight's image is this one. Boom. Did we capture a ghost? It's coming from, looks like, August of 2014. August 11th or November 8th, depending on where it was taken. But at 10:43 p.m. So looks like a doozy. It does look like it could very well be a ghostly apparition and kind of fits in with tonight's theme of ghost photos. And there's not much on this one. Where I found it, it says... there's really nothing. It's just the only thing I found it on social.dipley.com. It says, I hate the motion blur effect. Some of these pics with this thing, you can kind of make out the shape of whatever it is, but what would be leaping past the camera like that? And I don't know, but it's creepy. And, if it's creepy, that's what we do here on the portal. So could this be a ghostly image? Is it just some wayward mist that happened to break away from a fog bank somewhere? I don't know. You be the judge. But in any case, it's part of the ongoing work that is the Trail Cam Terrors. All right, folks. That's our journey into the paranormal portal tonight. I hope you had a good time. Hope you found this as a ghost squatch. Ghost squatch. I love it. Why the hell not? There's a bat squatch. There's a sheep squatch. There's all kinds of squatches. So I like ghost squatch. Nice job, Aiden. That can be a term going forward. Ghost squatch, ladies and gentlemen. Could be. But at any rate, thank you so much for joining me here. I hope if you're new to the show, you'll make this a part of your regular community of online entertainment. I hope you will subscribe, and I hope you'll like the streams. I hope you'll share the words, share the news about the portal to those people you know that like the paranormal, because word of mouth is everything to us, and we don't advertise the show. It's just people have found us as they found us. And so if you'd like to help us grow and become more than what we are, we'd really appreciate your endorsement to people you know that love the paranormal. So with that in mind, great show. Big dog. Thank you, War Child. Appreciate it, brother. With that in mind, that's our show tonight. Hope you enjoyed the journey. Thank you so much for being here with me. I will be back tomorrow night, 2 full hours of the Paranormal Portal. We're going to get into some more of those Black-Eyed Kids stories, some other stories that we've been working through for a few shows, and we'll just clean up some stuff and have a good time. So starting at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Wednesday through Sunday nights right here on YouTube, there's always a Paranormal Portal happening, so I hope you'll check it out. Don't forget the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Check out our podcast, Pandora, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes. This is not the podcast. This is just the YouTube show. Podcasts are completely different episodes this week, featuring an interview with Jeff and Teresa Yellick, who are Bigfoot researchers out of Colorado, and had a talk with them about some incredible stuff that they've been into and working with, and great time. So check it out. That is out there on all the major podcasting platforms, Stitcher, iHeart, iTunes, you name it. Just look for Paranormal Portal. But all I can say, guys, is it's been a great journey. Thank you so much for being here with me. And remember, I love you. I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. All right, that's it for me. You guys have a wonderful evening. Get some sleep. I'll be waiting here for you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Hope you join me.